Shalom, my name is Adam Watson from New York City. On the idea of Judaism and the rest of the world. Living in New York, I have many friends and many acquaintances, whether they are Arab American, Black American, Italian American, Greek American, what have you, Anglo American. There's a question, there's a big dilemma with the non-Jewish society towards the religious Jewish world, and in some part the secular Jewish world. And that is, why is it that Jews separate themselves from the rest of the world? Why is it that my child is not religious and or my child is not Jewish, and the religious Jew will not allow my child to play with his child? And the answer is simple. It's not so simple, but it is really simple. God said in Sinai, do not mix with the Gentile world. Do not assimilate into their world. Now why? Because you will assimilate into their world and you will ultimately be eliminated. You know, Judaism is an ancient religion. It's something that is very rare when you look at other religions. Islam is what, 1600 years old? Christianity is 2,000 years old. Buddhism is around the same age, 3,000 years old as Judaism. But most of their way of survival is because of bulk. Judaism is a small group of people. 16 million to 13 million Jews around the world today, depending how you look at it. And we have survived because we have separated ourselves from the bulk of the world. In the idea that, yes, a lot of Jews did intermingle with the rest of the world, but a large part of them did not. And now the part that did not intermingle with the greater world were the ones that survived. Today, 40% of Jewish Americans intermarry to non-Jews. Out of that 40%, some 20% of their children marry non-Jews and are no longer Jewish. Out of that, only 10% of those children end up Jewish. Meaning, you took 40% of the Jews right now, 10% in 30 years from now are left over. Now, of the 6 million Jews in America today, we can say, well, Jews are all over the place. They're in Hollywood, they're in business, they're in economics, and in politics. And you know, the thing is that when you look at the Jews that are very intermingled into the non-Jewish world, a lot of their children do not marry Jewish, and out of their grandchildren, most of them do not end up Jewish. So the religious world is really what the Jewish world depends on for the future of keeping Judaism alive. You want to go to a secular rabbi, you want to go to a Reform rabbi and ask him that question, go ahead. But the truth, the facts on the ground, the statistics point in this direction, and they've always pointed in this direction. You know, Israel today, only 20% of Israel is a religious community. Now, Israel's a Jewish state, so you're going to say, well, they're secular, so they survive. They only survive as Jews because they only have Jews to intermingle with. And they only, many Israelis, when I was in Hawaii and in other places, Arizona, Israelis would come to me like, I'm here, I'm doing business, this is my life, but I can't find a Jewish wife, I can't find a Jewish husband. So what do? They start to intermingle and they fall into a non-Jewish world. So Israel is a quagmire in the fact that Jews of Israel, Israelis, they say, what is Judaism? What is it all about? But they marry Jews not because they're Jewish, but because they're Israeli and that's where they are. But if they're out of Israel, how much does it take before they intermarry? The bottom line is, Jews have a policy from the Torah, and it's not only a policy, but it is a way of life, of not going too much into the secular world, not going too much into the non-Jewish world because of fear of losing oneself, more losing one's child than losing oneself. You know, Judaism is not only religion, it is a race of people. We have survived 3,000 years on these policies, and these policies are what has kept us alive. You know, Judaism has 613 laws, and these laws can be crazy, they can be bizarre, but in fact they have kept us alive. They have kept us real people. Ultimately, as a non-Jew, I would encourage you not to look bad at a Jew that pushes themselves away from you to a point. I wouldn't say, do not look at them as a bad person, that they have a barrier. Look at it as an idea of they're protecting not only themselves and their identity, but their child's identity. And it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do, and it's nothing against you. It has absolutely nothing against you. Whether you're Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, whatever, it's nothing against your religion. It is that we as Jewish people need to have a separation in order to survive. There are many things to say on this subject, and we could go on and on for hours, but I think you get the gist. So God bless you and take care. Amen.